What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the video. I hope you're having a fantastic day. So today is the day we finally get to see the all-new 2026 Honda Passport. Now, the current Passport has been around since 2019, getting a little bit long in the tooth if you ask me, kind of outdated at this point, but finally now Honda has brought us the all-new one. Now, the current Honda Passport basically looks like a shrunken down two-row version of the last generation Honda Pilot. Aside from just that small size difference, those two cars look pretty much identical. Now, I was under the assumption that Honda would just do the same thing again for this Passport, but they actually went in a little bit of a different direction with the Passport this time around as opposed to last time. And with this new Passport, they are really emphasizing ruggedness and off-road capability. So for this reveal, Honda has provided 2 videos, 31 photos, and a really long press release, which I'm not going to read the entire thing, but we'll get into some of the important points that are made. First thing I want to cover is the new trim levels, because they have changed them up a bit from the outgoing model. This new Passport has just 3 trim levels: the base RTL, the Trail Sport, and the Trail Sport Elite. So the trim levels are the first thing about the Passport that are going to differ from the new Pilot, specifically this new Trail Sport Elite. Now, if you're not familiar with what Trail Sport is, it's basically an off-road / appearance package that Honda has on some of their SUVs. It's usually just one trim level in the lineup, but now on the Passport, it's 2 of them. And now having a trim level called the Trail Sport Elite. Now the Elite model, instead of being that luxury-oriented trim level, it's still gonna have that really rugged, bold design that you find on the Trail Sport. Alright, so now checking out the design, here it is. As you can see, it's really not that similar to the Pilot. This thing is very brawny, very muscular, completely different headlights, completely different grille, massive skid plate on the bottom and the front, tons of black cladding on the bumper, on the bottom, going around the whole car pretty much. Let's take a closer look here at the front end. So in terms of the grille, it looks like we have 3 different openings. So you have the main one in the middle where you have the Honda badge. Up in the hood, it looks like there's a small opening, and then down on the lower part, there's a honeycomb insert pattern there. That's the largest of the 3 openings, so looks like there's going to be plenty of airflow into the engine to cool everything down. And it looks like down here on the lower bumper we have this really big painted section, and there's 2 bright orange recovery tow hooks tucked right in the bottom there. And at the bottom of this piece there's a skid plate. With the skid plates, there's actually 2 of them. There's one in the front and one in the rear, and they protect the oil pan, the transmission, and the gas tank. They also gave the new Passport better ground clearance, so now it is at 8.3 inches, and the approach angle has been improved to 23 degrees. You can also see here in this close-up of the front, they have the word Passport stamped right into the bumper just below the Honda badge, so that's a nice touch. And because it's color matched to the bumper, it won't stick out too much. And the 2 upper Trail Sport trim levels are going to have that Trail Sport badge off to the right from the Honda badge in the grille too. I'm actually really digging the tow hooks at the bottom. Those look really cool. Now, off to the edges on the front bumper, there appears to be fog lights, although it doesn't look like they're illuminated in any of these pics, but they look like fog lights. I hope I'm right about that. Now, the headlights, I think they went in a little bit of a different direction with the headlights, specifically the daytime running light and the turn signals. Number 1, you can see the shape of the daytime running lights are almost a complete circle. They're usually just more of a straight line, or maybe covers 2 sides, but this is like almost the whole housing. The obvious main thing is that the color of the daytime running lights, it's amber instead of white, and I think that's really going to make it look more distinctive and make it stick out a bit more. There are other companies that do amber colored LED daytime running lights, specifically Kia, and I think the amber running lights that Kia put on the original Telluride when it first came out, I thought they looked amazing. Honda took some notes, and I think it looks pretty baller. But the inside of the headlight housing looks the same as pretty much most of the other Honda models. It has 3 reflector beam elements inside of it. The 2 outer ones usually serve as the low beam, and then the one in the middle is the high beam. That is what it appears to be on this new one. But the overall design of the front end, I'd say chiseled, and muscular. Now turning to the side, we see blacked out mirrors. The middle Trail Sport trim level has standard power folding mirrors and a heated windshield. We have black roof rails on top, and we have gloss black door handles. We have a really thick C-pillar in the rear that also makes the car look a lot more muscular. The fenders and the wheel wells are flared out quite a bit. Black cladding along the bottom and going around the wheel arches. B-pillar appears to be flat black. On other vehicles, I would say they cheaped out, but I guess it matches the rest of the car with the other flat black cladding, so I'll let that one slide. Also, a design element that looks kind of interesting to me here is in the rear, where this back window is, they decided to black out the roof right on top of where that window is, so it looks like the window is going up into the roof. So that's a cool little illusion design element they threw in there. So now let's take a look at the wheel and tire setup. Each of the 3 trim levels get its own wheel and tire, starting with the base RTL. This one doesn't get the better all-terrain tires like the 2 upper Trail Sport models do, but it gets a all-season tire, 265 on the width, 60 series sidewall, 18-inch wheel. So all 3 trim levels have an 18-inch wheel. The base model, it's a little bit slimmer on the width, and it's an all-season tire instead of the all-terrain. But the finish that you get on the base RTL is a gloss shark gray. When you step up to the Trail Sport, it becomes a matte shark gray. Also stepping up to the Trail Sport, you get the all-terrain tires, the General Grabber all-terrain tires, 275 on the width instead of 265. Still 60 series sidewall, so it's going to have a really beefy tire on it. And now stepping up to the Trail Sport Elite, you get the gloss black with dark tinted machined finish on the wheels. Now in terms of overall size, the new Passport has a wheelbase that's been stretched 2.75 inches in comparison to the outgoing model. The front track is 1.3 inches wider and 1.5 inches wider in the rear, and this is going to improve with cornering stability. And holding this thing up from those new wheels is a stronger forged steel suspension arm and sturdy cast iron knuckles. It has McPherson struts in the front and an all-new multi-link suspension in the rear. It has a new stiffer steering column and stiffer torsion bar to enhance communication with the driver. And the new brake rotors are 13.8 inches in diameter. Honda is also boasting more sound-absorbing technologies, including acoustical spray foam insulation inserted in the body structure, fender liners, thicker carpet, and other measures to reduce wind, road, and powertrain noise inside the cabin for a more refined driving experience. We'll have to see just how true those claims are once we get one to actually test out, but that is what they're saying. And now let's take it back to the rear. First, I want to start with these new taillights. The shape of these taillights and just the overall shape of the back reminds me a lot of the new Toyota Land Cruiser. Now, just like they did up front, they put that painted silver part on the rear bumper down at the bottom. There's also a skid plate below that. They also took that stamped-in Passport, put it in the back as well at the bottom of the tailgate. We can see 2 integrated reflectors into the bumper, and aside from that painted silver portion, the bumper is all flat black cladding. You have a small black accent right above the license plate where the silver Honda badge is. Now, one thing that isn't explicitly obvious from the press release and the photos is whether or not these new taillights are full LED. I think at the very least the taillights and brake lights are, but I'm not too sure about the turn signals. Honda is known to do a little bit of cost cutting with the rear turn signals sometimes, so guess we'll just have to wait and see for that one. There is a possibility it could be an incandescent turn signal. I can't say for sure right now. So now here we have a photo showing the cargo area. So in terms of cargo space, with all the seats folded up, it has up to 44 cubic feet of cargo space. That's a lot. Behind all the seats. Now that also includes an underfloor storage area according to Honda, but with all the seats folded down, up to 83.5 cubic feet of cargo space. And that does include a full-size 120 volt outlet in the very rear of the cargo area, in addition to the one that's also in the interior of the car too. But according to Honda, the new wider cargo area can now hold full-size golf bags laid sideways across across the cargo floor, or a large stroller. With its rear seats folded flat, Passport can accommodate 2 full-sized adult mountain bikes with their front wheels removed. So in addition to the ruggedness and off-road capability, they're also really emphasizing the utility that this thing offers as well. Because obviously when doing all that off-roading and going on adventure, you're gonna need space to bring all your equipment along with you. Before we head into the interior, let's go over the new engine and transmission in the new Passport. So this has a new, more powerful 24-valve dual overhead cam 3.5-liter V6 engine that produces 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. And the new Passport is also getting Honda's tried and true 10-speed automatic transmission, but it's been retuned exclusively for the new Passport, and standard paddle shifters on all trims. Also on all trims, the Passport comes standard with the second generation of Honda's torque vectoring iVTM4 all-wheel drive system. It has a stronger rear drive unit that can handle 40% more torque and provides 30% faster response. Up to 70% of the engine's torque can be sent to the rear, and up to 100% of that can be distributed to either right or left. So this sounds a lot like Acura's super handling all-wheel drive system. Love to see that, because that Acura system is amazing. And the new Passport can also tow up to 5,000 pounds. And compared to the outgoing model, there's a 72% increase in front lateral rigidity and 50% increase in rear torsion rigidity. And another thing good to see here is a full-size spare tire is available, because trust me, a donut is not going to cut it off-roading. The new Passport also has seven different drive modes: normal, sport, econ, snow, sand, tow, and trail. And the new Trail Sport Elite trim level has a new Trail Watch camera system, and it uses 4 exterior cameras to offer 4 camera views, which are front, rear, side, and 360, along with clever tire placement graphics to help drivers navigate obstacles outside their natural line of sight by slope or proximity, such as blind crests, deep ruts, and the trail's edge. When driving in trail mode at speeds below 15 miles an hour, the forward view camera automatically turns on and then deactivates when speeds rise above 15. For additional driver support, and unlike competitor trail cameras, Trail Watch automatically reactivates if the vehicle speed dips below 12 miles an hour. Alright, now let's take a look at the inside of the all-new Passport. Very typical Honda. Now, the inside does look identical to the new Honda Pilot, but with one very key difference. Right there in the middle, 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen. Several models in Honda's current lineup use a 9-inch screen like the Pilot, the Civic, and the HR-V. The new Accord has this larger 12.3-inch screen. This does check a box that the Pilot doesn't. So the 12.3-inch is standard across the board. Comes with a Google built-in, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Also standard across the board is a wireless charger. As you heard me say before, it has the Trail Watch camera system. The 2 upper trim levels get a panoramic moonroof. The top of the line Trail Sport Elite gets smart entry perforated leather seating with piping, ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel, rear climate controls, rear door shades, and expanded ambient lighting, plus a 12-speaker Bose premium audio system. Also standard for the infotainment is 5G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot compatibility, Google Assistant, Google Maps, and more apps available on the Google Play Store as well. And for the USB connectivity, it has a pair of 60-watt 3.0 USB-C ports, and they are capable of charging a laptop. And in the rear center console, a 120-volt power outlet, full-size home outlet. And now just going over the rest of the interior, you can see just below the infotainment screen, just like on the exterior, they have that stamped in Passport logo. Passport also gets the 10.2-inch digital gauge cluster that we see in several of the other Honda models as well. The Trail Sport trim level has these bright orange accents going throughout the cabin. The steering wheel is the exact same as the one you find on the other Honda models in the current lineup. Now we can see in some of these photos right here, I'm assuming this is the Trail Sport Elite trim level. Two-tone leather, we have a black with brown. Also on the door panels, on the dash and lower dash too, so that looks nice. And off to the side on the door right here, this looks like maybe some kind of imitation wood trim. Now, I highly doubt it's real wood, but adds a little something. We can also see memory seating. We got memory seating for the driver. And on this view of the seating, you can see the black piping going around the headrest and along the top of the seat. You can see the perforations in the seat, and you have Trail Sport embossed into the headrest. Now, actually, I can't tell from here whether it's embossed or if it's stitched, but you do get the Trail Sport logos on the headrest. We can also see here on the center console that this uses Honda's push button, a transmission selector instead of the standard lever. The lower two trim levels won't have the Bose premium audio system, and they didn't give any information on what kind of system is going to be in those lower trims, but we know it won't be from Bose and it will be fewer than 12 speakers. So that pretty much sums up what we know so far about the new 2026 Passport. I'm not going to bore you guys with every single little detail that Honda put out in their press release, but I think what I just covered were all the important things that you need to know. So the new Passport goes on sale early 2025, and according to Honda, it's going to be starting in the mid $40,000 range. They're not giving exact pricing on the trim levels, but it will start in the mid 40s. If you enjoyed this video, please share with a friend and subscribe. It'll really help the channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the new 2026 Passport, and also any other vehicles you'd like to see on the channel next. And be sure to follow at Optical Automotive on TikTok and Instagram, and check out the page on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.